everything to make sure we are live. Let's take a look at the YouTubes. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's make sure we are live. There we go. We are live on the YouTubes. Yes, we are. We are live on the YouTube. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see about X. Let's see about X. Are we live on X? Let's make sure we are live on the X. One second, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's see here. All right. There we go. We are live on the YouTubes. Let's take a look at Twitch. All right. Yes. There we go. We are live on the Twitch. Yes, sir. Okay. We're live everywhere. Good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hope you happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. And yeah, we're just getting ourselves all set up over here. Hold on. Boom, right there. All right, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. Get this all set up over here. Boom, right there. Let's see here. Let's get this set up. Boom, right there. Boom, all set up there. Bop, right there. Let's get just getting all the announcements out, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting out all the announcements right now. Give me 1 second. Bop, right there. All righty. So far, so good. All right. Let me get this shared up on the YouTubes. There we go. Let's get this shared up on X. There we go. All right, let's get this shared over here. Get ourselves all set up. Boom. All right. Okay, so that's what we got going on right there. Let's get this put up here. All right. All right, let's get this put in here. Boom, right there. All right. Get this put up over here. Get this put up over here. And this over here. And we should be ready to go. All right. So let's get started. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks. And welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I'm your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house. AKA the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Other times she likes to regular ski. Sometimes she gets shot out the cannon and she goes, whee! Other times she likes to go to Arby's or Wendy's and watch videos of puppies and kitties. She is very fun at parties. And to top it off, she gets sent into the stock market and finds them ABCDs. And she did call some wonderful stonks like AZI, AMCI, BDRX, and let's see. BYND. We call her DBM Moms. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So, yeah, right now we're just doing our thing here. We are just doing our thing, getting ourselves all set up and ready to go. All set up and ready to go. And yeah, that's what we got going on. So let's take a look at a couple of stonks this lovely morning. We did call quite a few. We called AMCI, and this stonk ran up 53% right there. AMCI. We call another stonk over here, BDRX, which ran up a nice 58%. And then we called another stunk, AZI, which ran up 70%. 70%. There we go. All right. So that's what we got going on there, folks. That's what we got going on. So before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Marty, good morning. Good morning, Marty. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Yeesh. So, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. All right. So, now that we got ourselves all set up, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going on. Let's get to the first 100. Let's get to 100, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 100. Ladies and gents. Let's get it. Let's take a look at BDRX. BDRX had a nice run of up to 58%. Currently now it is below the VWAPA. So we got that going on right there. Legal says happy Taco Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday to you as well. Man, I want some tacos now. Ooh. Look at what you got me doing, Legal. Got me hungry now. All right. Got me hungry for some tacos. Some tacos. Man, I could go for some of those. Ever have the tacos with the chorizo on them? Those things are delicious. Those things are so good. Anyways, let's get moving and grooving over here, ladies and gentlemen. So right now I'm just taking a look at BDRX right here. Hold on, let me get everything all set up and cleared off. All right, let's take a look at BDRX. BDRX had a nice bit of movement upward over here, and then kind of started consolidating around this area right over here. All right, let me actually change this to the brush. Right over here is where it started having some consolidation. After that, it started just straight up moving downward over here, and is currently on a bit of a downtrend. But if you really want to be enthusiastic, you could just say that it is on a bit of a descending wedge right over here, which is entirely possible. It's not impossible that could be the case, but it is below the VWAP, and it has been leaning towards being oversold in the RSI. So we'll have to see what happens. Right now, it's kind of indifferent on the RSI, so we'll take a look and see what goes on there. But as of now, BDRX is still doing its thing, still moving downward. It needs to break above this descending wedge and break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. So let's take a look over here. BDRX needs to break the descending wedge for it to be so much schmexy to mya. There we go. That is what we have going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at AMCI. AMCI, let's take a look and see what AMCI is up to. Currently, AMCI is on a bit of an uptrend. Slightly choppy, a little bit of choppy uptrend going on over here. Up 55% as of now. So it has broken to a new high as of late. It broke above the VWAP, currently is on the uptrend, has to remain friends with the trend for it to be somewhat remain schmexy to mya, but otherwise it could be meh, and that would not be good. So let's take a look over here. AMCI, AMCI needs to remain friends with the uptrend right now. Needs to do that for it to be so much maxi to mya. Otherwise, just meh. You know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it goes. Let me take a look over here. Let me get a drink right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So that was good stuff right there. AMCI currently moving upward, moving on upward over here. Has a move currently upward right now. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. As of now, it did have a nice shot upward over here, to which it kind of just basically went bop and bop right there, and then curled off this pennant right over here and broke above the VWAP. So AMCI broke above the VWAP and broke past the pennant. So AMCI curled off the pennant and broke the VWAP. Needs to remain friends with the trend. There we go. For it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. Has to do that. All right, let's see what's going on here. SRXH just popped up out of nowhere. I'm wondering if this is a mistake because it just randomly became 200% upward there. Interesting. SRXH, 18 million float, 2 million volume, moving up on some seriously low volume, has some unconfirmed earnings for Q3, doing 14 days on December 30th. Let's see if there's any other news for this stunk. SRXH signed an agreement to acquire EMJ Crypto Technologies and financial terms not disclosed. Entered into a definitive agreement to acquire EMJX to establish next-generation digital asset treasury operating system and platform led by Eric M. Jackson. SRX Health Solutions also filed a form of fact. So they got that going on right there. There is a massive price spike that just happened over here. It shot up to 234%. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Let's see here. All right. All right. We did call SRXH yesterday at 33% at 3:05 p.m. and we called it earlier in the morning prior to its 218% run. So we got that going on as well. So SRXH is a new bagger as of now. SRXH, new bagger. I don't see anything to prove the contrary. That it did, so it did legitimately move up to 234%. So, hey, SRXH, new bagger up 234%. Right? SRXH. SRXH, new bagger, shot up to 234% on a price spike on low volume. Kind of suspicious of the stock, truthfully, but it'd be like that. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Hit 241, actually. That's how high it went. 241%. 241%. So we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. But as of now, SRXH actually now hit 249. 249. So got that going on. Had a major price spike. But as of now, that is the current ordeal going on here. SRXH hit a new high at 249%. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 300. Let's get to 300, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 300, ladies and gents. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on right there. All right. So let's take a look at SQFT. SQFT, 1 million float, 1 million volume. Let's take a look over here at SQFT. All right. SQFT. Got that going on right there. Hold on. Let me get this. All right. There we go. All right. So SQFT. SQFT currently had a bit of a slight descending wedge over here, a little bit. Honestly, it was on more. Honestly, I'd even say it was more of a downtrend than anything. So, I mean, you could say it was a descending wedge because it did curl off the descending wedge eventually. So it did have that going on here, but as far as I'm concerned, it fell below the uptrend right here. Needs to regain friendship with the trend line. Currently also needs to break this little tiny pennant right over Mia for it to be so much mexy to Mia. So as of now, SQFT broke the descending wedge, needs volume to break the pennant and then break the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. There we go. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. SRXH is now moving some more. SRXH now up 287%. 287% right now. There we go. 287%. Right there. 294. 294. All right. 294% right there. So we got that going on. SRXH shot up to 294%. SRXH shot up to 294%. 294% right there. That's what we got going on. Boom, right there. So, as of now, we currently have SRXH up 294%. New high of day. There we go. There we go. SRXH currently up 290. Trying to move its way on up slowly but surely. Has a bottom tail over here. We don't like we like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. We do like bottom tails. Has some unconfirmed Q3 earnings and acquisition news, both of which are, coming out very, very soon. You know what I mean? It's got the acquisition news that just came out, and it has some unconfirmed Q3 earnings coming out in approximately 14 days from now on December 30th after the market close. So we got that going on right there. Now currently up 315%. SRXH 315% right there. 315. SRXH now 340, 340%. SRXH now 340% right there. 340. There we go. So SRXH currently up 340%. 340%. SRXH need hold on. SRXH shot up like a rocket. Now up 340%. Called it, baby. SRXH just moving like a Dickens right now. Moving like a Dickens right now. So, as of now, that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at ASNS in the meantime. ASNS. Let's see how ASNS is doing. ASNS had a bit of a double top going on right over here. All right, some more over. Yeah. Let's see here. ASNS currently needs to break this downtrend right here. ASNS did have a odd shoulder, head, and sort of shoulder over here, but and then after that, kind of just went on a downtrend right there. ASNS needs to break the downtrend. ASNS needs to break the downtrend. And the head and shoulders bear pattern, as well as the VWAP. There we go. That's what we got. All right. So let's get a share party going. Let's get the 500 people. Let's get the 500. Let's get the 500, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 500. All right. Let's take a look at SRXH. How's SRXH holding up? SRXH, forming a bit of a double top right now. Forming a bit of a double top. Boom, right there. So, yeah. That's what we got going on right there. SRXH needs to break that double top right there. SRXH needs to break the double top for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. Let's take a look at AMCI. 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 How's AMCI doing? All right. So AMCI had a shot upward over here, then made a bit of a pennant right over here, just below the VWAP. All right. So as of now, AMCI currently needs to break the VWAP and needs to break the pennant for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. There we go. There we go. Needs to break the VWAP and the pennant for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Otherwise, meh. You know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it goes. Let's take a look over here at AMCI. We already did CPAC. CPAC. How's CPAC doing? CPAC is rather consolidated along the VWAP, but it is on a slight uptrend so far on some low volume right there. 42 million float, which is very heavy. Volume is 604,000. So CPAC is on a slight uptrend. CPAC on a slight uptrend on low volume. All right. So as of now, you got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at VERO. VERO. Let's see how VERO is doing. Currently with VERO, has to break this pennant right here and break through the VWAP for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. VERO. VERO needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Let's take a look at BDRX. BDRX still needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP. Let's see here. So, BDRX needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Right now, it's got to break through that descending wedge for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Let's take a look at RILY. RILY, how's RILY doing? RILY is below the VWAPA, below the VWAPA. All right. As of now, let's take a look over here at Riley. RILY needs to break this descending wedge over here. It looks like it's trying to break this descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. And yesh. Looks like it's trying to do that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, to tell you. So, as of now, that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right, so as of now, RILY needs to break that descending wedge, needs to break the VWAP for it to really remain so much Mexi to Mya. Let's take a look at the. Let's take a look at another stock here. AMCI hit 53%. We already did that. VERO, BDRX, we already did those. You know what? Let's take a look at ASST. ASST is a crowd favorite right there. Crowd favorite of everybody. ASST. Let's see how it's doing. ASST, very jumpy. Very choppy over here. Showing a lot of indecisive wicks as of now. A lot of indecisive wicks. So, got that going on right there. All right. So, all right. Let's see here. So, as of now, ASST needs to break this pennant, but also needs more volume for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Let's see here. ASST needs to break the pennant and needs more volume for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Let's take a look at BYND. BYND, very choppy. Lot of indecisive wicks going on over here. Not looking too schmexy. Yeah. Right there. So, let's see over here. Let's get this right over here. All right. So, as of now, BYND, not a lot of volume going on over here. Not a lot of volume going on. Let's take a look over here. Boom. Yeah, not a lot of volume going on. Needs to break the barcoding, needs to break the channels, and needs to stay above the VWAP. So, BYND, low volume, needs to break the barcoding and consolidation, as well as the channels right there. Needs to break those channels, needs to break all that stuff. Let's see here. Ooh, what you want? It's the watch. Boom. Anyways, so BYND low volume stock needs to break the barcoding and consolidation, as well as the channels, and needs to stay above the VWAP. Also needs to stay above the VWAP right there. Stay above VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. Let's take a look at open. 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 All right. So, as of now, with open, currently this stonk has a double top right over mya. Right. Also has a bit of a pennant right over mya. Is staying above the VWAP as of now, but that could potentially change because it was below the VWAP quite a few times earlier in the day. But as of now, very very choppy, very very low volume. I could tell just by looking at it. Needs to break the pennant. Needs to break through that double top as well. So has some resistance that it's got to go through. OPEN needs volume to break the double top and the pennant as well. So got that going on right there. That is what we got going. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on right there. So SRXH, we called it, ran up a nice 340%. AMCI 53%, BDRX 58%, and AZI 70%, ladies and gentlemen. 70%. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. All right. So, as of now, we are basically looking at OPEN. Very choppy, low volume, not looking too schmexy as of now. We can see about other stonks in the sea. You know what I mean? There's always other stonks in the sea. So let's take a look at some of said stonks that were requested to us by viewers. Somebody requested BBAI. BBAI. Currently, BBAI is down 0.84%. Not looking too schmexy. Consolidating below the VWAPA. Not looking too good. All right. So as of now, BBAI. Yeah. All right. So, as of now, BBAI needs to break the triple top, needs to break the VWAP, needs to basically get some more volume into it. So, BBAI, low volume, needs to break the VWAPA for it to be so much mexy to me. Also needs to break the double tapa. Yeesh. Needs to do all that good stuff. All right, so as of now, not looking too schmexy there with BBAI. Somebody requested ONDS. ONDS. Let's take a look at ONDS and let's get a share party going. Let's get to 800. 800, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 800. All right. So let's take a look over here. As of now, this stonk ONDS has a bit of a pennant going on over here. Had a bit of consolidation as well earlier in the day. ONDS down 0.65%. So we'll see what happens there. right. So as of now, ONDS needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA. All right. So as of now, let's take a look over at CPAC, CPAC, 42 million float, 636,000 volume, very low volume as of now for CPAC, CPAC. Still trying to curl its way on up. Has news that Cementos Pacasmayo shares are trading higher after the Holcim announced an agreement for purchase of 50% of the company's owner, Inversiones ASPI SA of the Hochschild Group. So, as of now, CPAC is currently up 28%. 28% has some news that they're going to be signing an agreement to purchase 50% of a company's owner. So you got that going on right there. That is what they got going on. CPAC has that moving and grooving and doing its thing right there. So as of now, CPAC is currently moving its way on up. CPAC moving on up at a choppy pace. There we go. All right. So, as of now, that's what we got going on for CPAC. CPAC. What other stonks do we got going on here? Let's take a look over here. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me add them. Let me add them. Somebody requested AZI. Let's take a look at AZI. AZI currently had a nice shot upward over here, went back down, slowly curled its way on up, and then proceeded to just fall back down again and slowly climb up. So, got that going on. Let's take a look over here. All right, so as of now, AZI needs volume to curl and break the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya, even then it looks like it has a ways to go still to this day. AZI Internet Technology Global Limited, a Class A ordinary shares, stonk up 22%, up 22%, currently below the VWAPA as of late. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. So that's what we got. That is what we got. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, we are just chilling like villains right here. So, AZI did have a run up 70%. Currently, though, not feeling too schmexy about it right now. So, can it curl? Maybe. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what goes on with AZI. All right, let's take a look at... Somebody requested PLUG. 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 PLUG down 0.88%. Not looking too schmexy. Kind of looks like trash, to be fair. And right now, they all formed a descending wedge. Not a descending wedge, excuse me. They formed just a series of barcoding. They formed some barcoding, and I basically just got a channel to put on them. That's pretty much what we got going on here with the stunk. A lot of barcoding, PLUG, very low volume, down 0.88%. PLUG needs to break the bar coding channel and channel. It is above the VWAP, but it needs to break the barcoding and channels for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. It is very, very consolidated. Very, very consolidated. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Let's take a look at CPAC, CPAC. CPAC, how's CPAC doing? It's trying to curl its way on up, and then let's see here. So, as of now, we got CPAC, which currently now is in need of breaking the pennant right over here. It's a teeny tiny pennant. CPAC currently needs to break that teeny tiny pennant for it to be someone schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. CPAC. CPAC needs to break the small pennant to curl upwards. So we got that going on right there. All right. BDRX. Let's see how BDRX is going. Looks like it's trying to curl a little bit. All right. All right. So BDRX currently moving upward off the descending wedge right over here, but needs to still break that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. BDRX needs to break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya, curling off the descending wedge. All right. So we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. Let's get to 1100, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. And ladies and gentlemen, remember to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as of now, BDRX still needs to try and break that VWAP off that little pennant right there. So, we'll see what happens there. We shall see. We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. So, as of now, BDRX just needs to break above the VWAP. Needs to break above the VWAP. BDRX needs to break, well, curling off the descending wedge, needs to break VWAP. So, got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look over here. Somebody requested RILY. Let's take a look at RILY. As of now, RILY is up 26%. Has news that B. Riley Financial shares are trading higher after the company reported Q2 financial results. So, as of now, we are currently keeping an eye on RILY. RILY again, had news that the shares are trading higher after the company reported their Q2 financial results, which means that the results must have been good or at the very least decent, right? So, in order to really, you know, do all that good stuff right there, needs to curl and break above the VWAP. RLY needs volume to curl and break above the VWAP. So RILY needs volume to curl and break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Yeesh. All right. So as of now, somebody requested LION. LION. Let's see how it's doing. LION has two indecisive wicks here and here. All right, so as of now, LION down 0.61%. Had a bit of a move upward earlier in the day, but has since become very, very choppy with a lot of just indecisive wicks. Not looking too schmexy as of now. RSI is slightly leaning towards oversold, but we got a couple of things here. First things first, LION is down 0.61%. Needs to break this pennant and needs VWAP to break through those indecisive wicks. So, LION, very low volume, needs VWAP and well, actually not VWAP, needs to break through those all right. So, as of now, LION has very low volume, needs to break through those indecisive wicks. Indecisive wicks as of now for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. That's what we got going on. That is what we got going on. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 12. Let's get to 1300. 1300. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. So, right now, we are just chilling here, right? Keeping an eye on LION. And LION, not looking too schmexy to me. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out that 4-day trial. Get the access to these amazing scanners right over here. Currently, you can actually check out these scanners, and on the scanners, you find the percentage change, whether the stock is moving up or down, the time in which it was scanned, the ticker, price, volume, and float, as well as a bunch of hyperlinks to all the information pertaining to a singular ticker, plus the chart, and on top of that, news. So you got that going on right there. We also have a newsroom as well for such things. We have a newsroom that basically keeps an eye on the market and basically shoots out all sorts of intel that it discovers. Yeah. Hmm. So, as of now, LION, man, not looking too schmexy over here. Let's take a look at ATON. ATON, a ton. All right, moving up on low volume right now. 2 million float, 7 million float, 2 million volume. All right, ATON moving up on some low volume, up 26%, has unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 14 days on December the 30th after the market closes. So we got that going on right there. ATON moving up on low volume There we go. So, yeah, we're just chilling right now. We're just chilling. Chilling right now, keeping an eye on ATON as it moves up 29%. 29% right there. So, yeah. All right. So, hmm. All right. So, as of now, ATON moving up on low volume, needs volume to continue to move up right now, forming a bit of a double top right over here. Right over here for the stunk. That's what we got going on right there, folks. That is what we got going on. So ATON needs to break the double top. Needs to break it the double top. I need it. ATON needs to break the double top. So yeah, that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Okay, just stretched out. Ooh, there we go. So let's take a look at some other stonks right here. What other stonks we got? What other stonks we got? Let's take a look at. Somebody requested BEAT. BEAT. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. BEAT. BEAT has a bit of a pennant going on right over here. All right, nice, and then started to kind of choppily curl its way on up and test that VWAP. So we'll see what happens. BEAT up 1%, not looking too schmexy right now because it is very low, but BEAT curling off the pennant and choppily trying to break the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, so we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens there. As of now, BEAT, it's trying to test that VWAP. Needs to really break through it to be so much Mexi to me. So, not feeling it, ladies and gentlemen. Not feeling BEAT as of now. Not feeling it. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1500. Let's get to 1500. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out that 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99 to get access to our amazing educational and supportive community, as well as our lovely, beautiful scanners, such as the stock scanner over here for the market movers over here. You get the ticker tape. You get access to the newsroom, all of which has access to hyperlinks, which give you more information on the stock. These are wonderful, wonderful research tools, ladies and gentlemen. To top it off, we also give you access to a supportive community and wonderful tools for the trade. You know what I mean? Tools for the trade. So got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1500. Let's get the 1500. All right. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look at what we got over here. All right. Let's take a look. Looky. All right. Somebody requested RZLV. RZLV. All right, RZLV as of now is moving its way on up. Slowly but surely, Resolve AI shares are trading higher after the company reported preliminary December revenue results. So we got that going on right there. Up 34%. Up 34%. All right. So as of now, we got all sorts of stonks here. RZLV currently moving its way on up slightly. RZLV making its move on upward over here. Needs to break this little pennant right over here for it to remain somewhat schmexy to mya. But RZLV as of now is up 34%. 34% has news that they're trading higher after the company reported their preliminary December revenue results. So they got that going on right there. RZLV on an ABCD pattern over here needs to break through the pennant over here for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Currently is above the VWAP, but is a little bit overbought on the oversold in the RSI. A little bit overbought, excuse me. So we got that going on right there, up 33%. 33% right there. Let's take a look at some stonks over here. RZLV has news about those preliminary December revenue results. They reaffirmed their FY26 annual recurring revenue view of $500 million or more. Their revenue exceeded 17 million, and they shattered year-end expectations with their December revenue expected to exceed $17 million and ARR expected to exceed 200 million. So it did do that. It did both those things, ladies and gentlemen. Did both those things, really. So that's what they got going on right there. RZLV currently moving up nicely on that news. We're going to keep an eye on that real quick. We're going to keep an eye on RZLV. So RZLV is currently doing its thing right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1600. Let's get to 1600, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Come on now. Let's take a looky. See what else we got over here. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. So, let's take a look at AMCI, see how AMCI is doing. AMCI, new high of 66% right now. 66%. AMCI has that new high going on over there. Choppy uptrend still. Moving its way on up, though. So I got to give it credit where credit's due. It's moving its way on up, albeit at a choppy pace. AMCI new high of 66%. Still on that choppy uptrend. So, still doing this thing there. Up 67% now. Up 67%. So, got that going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. We got that going on right there. So, AMCI currently up 67% and slowly climbing. Slowly climbing its way back up. Slowly climbing. Slowly climbing. Yeesh. So we got that going on right there. All right. So let's take a look at another stonk. Right now, AMCI looks to be forming a double top right over here. Can it break above that little double top right there? We'll have to see what happens. All right. So as of now, AMCI currently slowly climbing its way on up. We'll see what happens here. AMCI up 69%. 69% right now. So is hitting new highs, is hitting those new highs. All right. So there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Let me get the graffiti pencil activated over here. Let's get some support and resistance. Boom, boom, and boom. All right. As of now, AMCI is currently above the 10-cent support line. The $10.75 support line needs to break through 12.53, which is resistance. Then needs to break through 15.39 to become somewhat schmexy to Mya. But right now, AMCI is currently up as high as 69% right now. Currently up 69%. We'll see what happens. AMC Robotics Corporation. AMC Robotics Corporation is doing its thing right there. So we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on. And we are just 9 minutes out from the bell. The bell. It deafens me. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, yeah. That's what we have. That is what we have going on here. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's get. I'm gonna keep an eye on the stonk right here. Gonna keep an eye on the stonk, but man, not feeling too schmexy about it right now. All right. So, as of now, we are currently looking at AMCI 64%. Little bit of a little bit of a mad day today. A little bit of a mad day today so far, but who knows? Things can continue to curl up a little bit more. Things may continue to curl up right now. So we got that going on right there. All right. Let's take a look at another stunk. All right. Let's take a look at another stunk because we already looked at AMCI. AMCI currently testing the $12.53 mark. Right. Has to break above $12. Then has to break above 1253, etc., etc., etc. But it is well above the VWAPA, so that's a good thing. But it has to break through that double top right there, AMCI. So let's see what else we got. What else we got? What else we got? Let me add them. Let me add them. All right. Let me see here. All right. Let's see about. Let's get a share party going, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1700. Let's get to 1700. Let's see here. Let's see how SRXH is doing. SRXH had that nice movement up 340%. Had news that SRX Holdings Health Solutions shares are trading higher after the company announced it signed an agreement to acquire EMJ Crypto Technologies. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. I am back. All right. So SRXH currently, we're gonna zoom in here. Had that double top, kind of just started going back down below the VWAP right there. Started going back down below the VWAP. So as of now, currently needs to break that pennant as well as this VWAP right over here. SRXH had that nice move up 340% and then went back down. SRXH needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. Boom, right there. All right, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1800. Let's get to 1800, ladies and gentlemen. We are 5 minutes away from the bell going ringy dingy. The bell going and making the wee woo. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost there. We're halfway there. Wow. Actually, we're more than halfway there. But that's besides the point. That is besides the point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is beside the point. Hold on one second. So, we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Take a look at AMCI. AMCI. AMCI still on that very choppy uptrend. Again, has to break that double top right there. But it was on a bit of a choppy uptrend before that. So, it had that going on. Had that going on. All right, so AMCI currently on this uptrend here, but has a double top right over here at the $12.34 mark. Waiting for it. All right. Has to break through that $12.34 mark. Has to break through $12.53. And then eventually $15.39. So right now, it's trying to curl up a little bit right over here with this green candle. Can it break above? Can it break above that double top right there? We'll have to see. We will have to see. AMCI needs to break above the double top. Needs to break that double top right there. SRXH, what's SRXH doing? Hold on. Seems that SRXH is trying to curl up off the pennant. But again, it needs more volume. Needs to break that VWAP as well. SRXH trying to break the pennant, but needs more volume. Ladies and gentlemen, needs more volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. All right, yes, sir. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1800. Let's get to 1800, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's get to 1800. All right. So, as of now, SRXH, not looking too schmexy. Still needs to break that VWAP as well. Let's see what else there is. Somebody requested BEAT, so let's take a look at BEAT. BEAT. All right. So, BEAT, double top right here. Needs to break above that double top. Right now, it is going downwards. So, not looking too schmexy right now. BEAT fell below the VWAP. Fell below the VWAP. And, yeah, BEAT fell below the VWAP. Needs volume for it to be so much schmexy to me. Otherwise, man, you know, man, All right, so as of now, BAT not looking schmexy. CPAC seems to be moving. Let's see how CPAC is doing. CPAC, ooh, okay. CPAC is curling upward a little bit, has a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. So, CPAC is moving its way on up slowly but surely. Has a top tail, though, so it needs to keep moving upward. But it also is moving up on low volume, too, because it is 42 million float, 797,000 volume. Not schmexy, right? Because it's very, very low. So, CPAC needs to remain friends with the trend moving up on very low volume. I'm rooting for it, but again, it's moving up on very low volume, so I don't exactly trust it. Let's see what goes on here. The bell made the ringy dingy. It made the wee woo. There we go. It is the bell. The bell. It deafens me. And CPAC went down and took a dump. But, okay. It's okay. It'd be like that. SRXH. Not moving. Not schmexy. Not the schmexy. Let's take a look at some other stocks. BEAT. Let's take a look at BEAT. BEAT is moving. Oh my. Up 6%. Again, very heavy float. Very heavy float. 29.5 million float. Volume is 1.6 million. So very heavy float, but it is moving up. Shot up like a rocket over just now. A little bit of a price spike going on here on BEAT. BEAT price spike moving on up, baby. But it is only up 7%, but it is moving on up. So I'll give it credit where credit's due. It is moving on up. Has a bit of a price spike, broke that double top. So we got that going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So as of now, that's what's going on. I think STAI did like a reverse split just now because there is no way that it is currently up 1,693%. No way. So I think that might be a mistake, especially considering the fact that it is 3K volume, 57 million float. Yeah, no way. Ain't no way. No, 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 no. All right, I see no. Anyway, SRXH has 79 million volume, 18 million float, so we got that going on right there. Volume is higher than the float, so we got that going on. So SRXH still could potentially be schmexy, but right now it is not up to that 340% run that it had earlier in the day. So, yes. As of now, though, Beat seems to be moving back down and forming a top tail. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. Bottom tails. Let's take a look at some more stocks. BDRX. BDRX, as of now, currently curling its way on up. Bot right here. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So, BDRX having a bit of a price spike, still needs to break that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to nya. BDRX needs to break the VWAP. Price spike happened on the stock right here. Had a price spike, but still needs to break the VWAP. Still needs to break that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to nya. Let's see about VERO. VERO. Let's see. VERO up 29%. Test still just below the VWAP right there. Just below the VWAP. It looks like it's trying to climb a bit. Looks like it's trying to climb slightly over a bop right there. So we got that going on. Let's get a share party. Let's get to 2,000. 2,000, ladies and gentlemen. 2,000. Yes, 2,000. 2,000. 0, 0. I don't know that song. Anyway. But currently, VERO is moving up, trying to test that high, that little VWAP over there. VERO needs to keep that price spike going to break the VWAP. Otherwise, you know what I mean? But right now, it's forming a bit of a top tail as well. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom tails. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I think STAI is tweaking because I think it might be some sort of like a reverse split. I think so. I think so. Me personally. Me personally. You know what I mean? So it be like that. You know what I mean? It do be like that sometimes. Mm-hmm. Mm, 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 mm. Currently, though, it just broke the VWAP though. STAI, excuse me, VERO broke the VWAP right now. VERO did break above the VWAP, so we got that going on right there, up 33%. VERO broke the VWAPA, broke the VWAPA, and is currently up 38% and climbing. The float is 1 million, volume is 8 million, so we got that going on. VERO does have a good float, and the volume is spectacular right now. So currently VERO is on the uptrend right now. Big green candle. VERO trend price that there. Right there. All right. Mm, mm. Let's see. What other stunks can we look at today? What other stunks are there? Hmm. Let's see here. All right. How about this? How about we take a look at STAI? No, that is definitely a reverse split. That is definitely a reverse split. BDRX, yeah, we can take a look at BDRX. BDRX has a very low float of 620,000, volume of 7 million. Testing and breaking the VWAPA right now. Testing and breaking the VWAP a little bit. It's kind of peaking over the VWAP just a little bit. BDRX try the VWAPA right now. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's get a share party. Let's get to 2100. Let's get to 2100, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, currently, as of now, BDRX is currently trying to break above this VWAP right here. So that's what we got going on for the stunk. BDRX trying to break above the VWAP. Yeesh. So there we are. There we are. There we are. All right. So yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. BDRX still trying to like peak its way above that VWAP. It's kind of like trying to peak it right now, but it's not doing its thing there. It's got to break through the VWAP, man. It's got to break through it for it to be so much mexy to me. Otherwise, man, kind of booty. You know what I mean? Kind of booty. But it is climbing its way on up. It is peaking over the VWAP a little bit, little by little. BDRX slowly peaking above the VWAPA. So we got that going. Slowly I turn, inch by inch, step by step. Got that going on. CPAC needs to break. Oh, actually, hold on. Wait, let me take a look at CPAC before I start typing anything. CPAC, all right, had that move downward, curled its way back up a little bit. Kind of choppy, not going to lie, very choppy. CPAC has a 1 million float, 42 million float, 1 million volume. Not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy there. CPAC needs to remain friends with the trend. Very choppy. All right, so that's what CPAC is going on right there. CPAC is man. So yeah, that's what we got going on. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We were just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yeesh. So, yeah. All is going well so far. So, yeah. Basically, yeah, that's what we got going on there. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our YouTube at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on there. We do lots of live streams, lots of videos, lots of stonk analysis, lots of shorts, and all sorts of other cool stuff. You can find us there at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on X.com, aka Twitter, where we do lots of live streaming, stock analysis, stock reviews, and other things. At Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our Twitch, where we do lots of live streaming. At Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. At Coaching Money. You can find us on TikTok, Tiki Taki, aka the Tac Tac. The Tac Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBL NICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Yes, sir. So we got that going on, folks. That is what we got going on right there. All right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. That's what we got going on there. By the way, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. So, as of now, that's what we got going on. By the way, TTSH just seems straight up ridiculous. So, that is ridiculous. Okay, yeah, totally. I totally believe you went up 290,809%. Yeah, no. Don't I wish, but no. Look, if that's the case, I got some seafront property that I want to sell you in Wyoming. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for me. Much love, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned, though, because we do have the show hosted by the great Coach Meister General, the great and powerful Oz. What? The legend himself, the Fortnite legend himself, right? He's like a luchador of Fortnite. PhD in Bangernomics from Bang U University, BUU. And of course, I got my PhD in Bangernomics from Big Bang College, BBC. All right. And yeah, we got that going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out Power Plays, which is going to be coming up today at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be surrounding the Coach Meister General. He's going to be the host and star of the show. He is going to be basically doing some stonk analysis on some stonks prior to Power Hour. Right? Power Hour. So just before Power Hour, he does his own analysis and honest thought process on the stonks before basically going into a game of Fortnite, getting dubs. He got a great dub yesterday, and then after that, going back into the stonks and finding the stuff that is worth looking at. And then to top it off, goes back to the game, rinse, repeat. He does that all the time. Excellent fun times with the Coach Meister General. I'll be there too, of course, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on X. Follow us on Twitch. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and of course TikTok to stay notified when new stuff is uploaded right there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Much love. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she likes to get shot out the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to go to RBs, watch videos of puppies and kitties. Other times she likes to steal my low mean. Other times she goes to the stock market. She finds them ABCDs. She did call some wonderful stocks like AMCI BDRX AZI SRXH and of course BYND. We call her DBL Moms.